Hi, it's Denise
And Jill.
from Bed Springs and Burlap in Topeka, Kansas.
And we are a little late, but we are here to do our live painting. And tonight we have an audience. We have a live studio
Live
audience.
studio audience.
Hey guys.
Everybody clap. Yay!
So we have Paint Club going on, and we'll show you what they're doing in a little bit. Those people that want to be on camera. We have some that have said they don't want to be. Yeah. So tonight they are using Milkpaint, and we used Milkpaint a little bit last week, and we thought we'd do our whole project with Milkpaint because it's such a cool paint.
It is.
So we have another door hanger, and this one is a hi everybody. So this one is a actually, I don't know if you saw my post with the earrings, but somebody,
We made 'em
Lacey, gave us the idea to make them big and make them door hangers, and so I just made them big and cut them out, and so we thought they'd make cute little door hangers.
Yes.
So this one, these are stained ahead of time, and we have this boo that is not stained. So this is stained with Milkpaint, and to do that you mix 3 parts water to 1 part paint, and this color is Curio. And we always like to stain our plain pieces of pine.
Gives a
because-
really good base.
Yes, and we are going to get that distressed look by using a wax puck to create a controlled resist. So when you use Milkpaint, instead of dry brushing to get that old, authentic, aged look, you can do that by creating a resist with the wax puck, and then painting on top, and where you have the wax, it will resist the paint, and it will show the stain through the paint. So, do you smell anything?
I don't.
Yeah, so that's the best thing, is we can stain, and these guys have stained their project over there, and they do not smell anything. It's not strong.
Jill had a migraine earlier today. I kind of have a headache. This is not something we could be doing.
No,
If
if it was
it
that.
had that strong odor. So
Okay, and I won't do the back, but we always like to do the back. Oh, I don't want to tell Tanya my battery's low. I swear it showed 50%.
she just checked it and it had 50% and it just said 20%.
Yeah,
So if you
see?
lose us for a minute, we'll switch phones and we'll be right back.
And the
So-
iPhone's on sale today, right?
Oh,
so maybe.
okay.
You know. Okay, so here is the front and back, and sometimes it's just nice to have a finished project on the back.
It just looks nicer. So
Okay, so
we're gonna angle this down so you don't have to just look at us.
And so if you say comments, we may not be able to see, and we have a little light. We're hoping that it's a little better light
Helps you guys
on our.
see a little bit better.
On it.
So
Okay, so we have the wax puck, and this is Miss Mustard Seed's wax puck. Here's Miriam Parsons. She's Miss Mustard Seed, and that is the kind of milk paint and products that we sell. So we are going to go in and put the wax where we want the distressing to happen. Okay, so this is the moon that the cat is sitting in. So I'm just going to do a little bit in the moon, but I'm going to do quite a bit around the edge. What are you doing?
I'm doing quite a bit on my ring, but I'm really gonna just leave my ghost alone. I want him to be pretty solid, you know, like the classic white sheet ghost.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I'm
and
not
so
gonna.
I'm kind of doing the opposite. I'm doing quite a bit of the wax puck because I want it to look distressed and scary. So
There you go.
All right, so we each have we keep our paint in jars because it just keeps better.
Humidity
That way.
is not good for paint, and here in Kansas, humidity, especially this summer,
This summer was
is
really
a problem.
bad.
So we learned that if too much humidity gets in your milk paint, it fizzes.
It did. We
So-
had this problem this summer with our paint fizzing up and kind of getting sandy.
Yeah.
And so,
It was like gritty.
yeah,
Like,
and we weren't sure why that was happening. And I think, you know, Denise was the smart chemist, and she figured out that you mix the paint with water, and so we had open bags. That's what it was.
Yes, yes.
We had the stuff that we use down in our workshop in a bag, and we didn't have them open. I mean, sealed.
Right.
So,
I've got my paint in my cup here, and I've mixed 1 part water to 1 part of the paint. And you want a cream consistency, and I know that's really hard to see on camera because for me, like even if I'm testing somebody's paint in a class, I want to feel it and not feel. I want to pick up their cup and tip it
Stir it.
around and stir it and see how it feels. But it's not as thick, I think, as a lot of paints are. Like if you're used to the Fusion Mineral paint, it's thinner than that. Goes on really nice. So,
and what you want to do when you're mixing is you really want to make sure you get all the
like the little
clumps
chunks.
and things.
It's kind of like if you're mixing a batter for something. You want to get all those lumps out and
Cake batter.
incorporated with your moist ingredients. It's the same concept here with the milk paint.
And you always want to stir your paint. When you load your brush, you want to make sure you stir it as you are loading your brush. Okay, now, I have this quandary here. So, does the cat go like this? Do I paint like this?
I think the cat's tail is hanging
little.
outside over the mirror.
So, but it's just going to be like this.
Yes.
All right. Everybody think that? Hopefully.
Everybody said, Denise is wrong. No.
Yeah. No,
Don't
you need
listen
to
to her.
just
She's
have it be
ruining- No.
on the inside. Okay, so I have not covered my cat a whole lot because I want some of that brown coming through. So I'm going to get a smaller brush to do the tail. And milk paint, it doesn't have a smell mixed as a 1-to-1 ratio either. And that's how you do most of your painting with milk paint is a 1-to-1 ratio. Our paint club people are quiet. You don't have to be quiet.
Well, thinking.
They're thinking. Okay. All right. So, and it dries really pretty quickly. And the thing about milk paint is, as it dries, it has a matte finish, and really it kind of gets a dull look.
I call it the ugly stage.
Yeah.
Marion probably doesn't love that
Probably
we call
not.
it that.
Probably
But
not.
it is beautiful once it's finished, and that's what counts. So yes, there might be a stage that you're like, oh my, but
What'd
there's
I
a stage
do?
at the end that you're like, oh wow. So
Yeah. It just kind of takes at the end to put your finish on. And you can see we're hardly using any at all. I'm gonna mix half a scoop of water and half a scoop of Flow Blue, and I will have more than enough.
So, and I probably did something between, well, probably right about half of a scoop, maybe a little less than half of a scoop for my ring.
And sometimes you know, you do that ratio that you're told 1-to-1 or 3-to-1, and when you stir it up, and if it doesn't quite feel right or look right, then you just add a little bit of water or add a little bit of paint to get it to the consistency that you would like it to be.
So I've got my ring done. I can hold it up and you can kind of see the distress. You can already tell where it's going to distress where I had that wax on there. So that will just be enhanced when we finish it.
So I'm going in with Flow Blue, and I want the moon to be yellow. So I'm just doing this ring part, the blue. That's okay. So these, sorry, have it clear over here. So these, these blanks, which are just, they're the birch, and they're 1/4-inch birch. They are available for $15. And so if you would like to order any, you can message us or call or come in. We had good success with the witch's hat and the football. So that's been fun. Let's see. Also, we have words that we have cut out to go on these, and so if you want words, there'll be an additional $2. So, are you going to tell them what yours says? Or are you going to wait?
Okay, so I picked this one because the wording we chose for it says, "I'm here for the booze," like BOOS, but I think it's funny. I like puns. So
our audience is laughing. Good, we think it's funny.
So,
and mine says trick or treat. So I'm going to put the trick or treat on the moon. I think that would be kind of cute to do that. Okay. So when you mix your white, I'll probably just use a little bit of it. Are you doing that now?
I'm mixing white now, so.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, it's down at the bottom
on
there.
that silver panel. Yeah.
Just push. There you go. No, it'll be good. All right, so for my moon, I am going to choose Miss Mustard Seed yellow.
So, and I have mixed again, and I feel like I'm a little watery. So, especially when you're not doing a full scoop, sometimes that can throw your consistency off. And sometimes I think it's just the humidity in the air or something like that that can make it a little bit different too. So it's just really important to get comfortable with a consistency that's close to cream.
And that just takes practice. Takes a little practice. If you start painting and it's too thin, then just stop and add some more to it. And
Right, but it's
mix
really
it up.
important that you have it well mixed before you decide if your
Yes.
consistency is off. Because until you get all those little chunks mixed in, every single one of those little chunks can affect your consistency. So don't like start mixing and go, oh my, this is going to be too thick.
Right.
And add more water or vice versa.
And when you're at home, maybe painting a door hanger or a project, we like to mix like big amounts of paint in a mason jar. It just is easier to see clear to the bottom, and you can tell if you've got those chunks out and things. So I think I've got. I think I've got mine mixed. So I'm gonna go in with my yellow and paint my moon. What do you need? This one? Okay. All right, now, I always try to paint with the grain because it just likes it better that way. Now, I went a little bit over on my blue, but it's real easy just to get that off.
I've got to get the doorknob all fixed up.
And again, I put quite a bit of wax on here, so it's not going to cover it fully. And I don't want to add in a whole bunch of paint just to take it off, because we are going to sand it when we're done. But see, instead of going and dry brushing around the edge, you're going to be able to create that with the wax.
So
I
I
wonder
hope
what-
you guys are noticing, like every time Jill and I dip in, we are stirring our brush. It's not something we just tell you to do. It is something that's really important, and we're in the habit of doing it, but it is something you have to kind of get in the habit of doing. It is really important with milk paint. All those pigments can settle to the bottom, and you'll start with one color and you'll end with a different one.
Yes, and when you're doing a big project, you don't want that to happen. Okay, hopefully I can squeeze out a little bit more for this little ribbon holder. I thought this would be a cute little loop. Okay, so yes, I want
The
to
battery
use.
just died because our ring just
Oh,
your computer battery.
whoops! Did it get dark? Because our light went out. Okay. Hopefully you are seeing this. I'll turn it this way. So far we've got all of it painted except for
Dip
I'm
in
going
and
to
do a little
use
white.
some of Denise's white for that little star that's in the sky. We really like milk paint because you don't have to be perfect. It's not a perfect
Right.
paint, and it's just real forgiving, and it controls what it wants to do. So sometimes the idea you have in your head of what it's going to look like, it may not turn out that way, right?
So we say, you gotta let it go, and I always say, I'm not a perfect painter, so I
No.
like working with a not perfect paint.
All right, so here is, what color do you need?
The yellow.
Yes, you can. There you go. No, don't be sorry. All right, so I have mine painted, and Denise has hers.
Ghosty there.
And so we just need to make sure it's dry. And my yellow. little sandy. All right. So while we wait for that to dry, we have some fusion to paint our letters with, which sometimes it's just easier to grab the thicker
It's a
paint.
little easier to control.
Yeah. So I'm trying really hard to only, I guess I need to be on, only paint the tops of the letters. And I think I can maybe do that. So I am using coal black for the letters. What
So
are
am
you
I.
using?
I'm using coal black as well. So I have traditional Halloween colors.
So, you used Outback Petticoat.
Yes,
For your
for my
orange.
orange. Yes, so
It's a good Halloween orange, especially with the brown curio.
yes.
Okay, my son obviously is not watching me on live because he's calling me, and hopefully he won't think I'm ignoring him too bad. Sorry, Cameron, but if you watched your mom, you would know that you can't call her right now.
I don't care, he's hungry.
Well, actually, he's a grown married man, and if he's hungry, his wife needs to take care of that. I bet it's because he wants to talk to. We get the 4-month-old granddaughter overnight tomorrow, so we're excited.
Give you instructions.
Yes, I'm sure he was, but
She'll get those in a few minutes.
yeah, I'll call him back.
Yeah, you just,
She needs one of those onesies that say, "What happens at Grandma's
Grandma's.
stays at Grandma's."
I have a little sign that says that. So, how old is your granddaughter now?
She's turned 4
Turned 4.
a couple weeks ago.
How fun. Okay, so I'm done with mine, and because we are doing the distressing to the rest of it, it's okay if our letters are a little
Perfect.
not perfect. Okay, so now everything's pretty much dry, and the way that we, I tell you, I'm gonna close that battery thing. The way that we finish is to wet sand with hemp oil. We love that finish. So I know I brought it. Here we go. So what, are you ready?
Stained glass paint sand.
You're gonna let it dry completely. Okay, and then you're going to go in with your highlights. Just, yeah, not your glaze, but your highlights. Like if you want to do your black and your yellow, and I would use the Fusion. And here's black right here. In fact, here you go. And here's some small brushes. And if you want to,
Oh, she needs that.
oh, I'm so sorry. Here you go.
I'm almost done. She's taking my paint.
And here's a pointed one. That might be easier. And this one's a good one. Get some water to it and just kind of blend.
Okay, so do you
Put that in a cup.
cup
There should be little cups
Right.
over there. You've
and
got
then you
some.
get water and blend it and just so it's light, but you don't do any mix this with anything else.
No, no. All right, so see, at our paint club, we have people come and they bring a project, or they've asked for us to have a kit ready for them to go. And they get to come and just paint on it and have a good time talking. And we have someone who's here for the first time, right, Marie? And then we have Shelly over here. And so Marie's working on a cabinet door because she wants to paint her vanity. And so we're going to kind of coach her through that. And Shelly's working with Milkpaint for the first time. Her friend is coaching her on how to do it because she's been here lots of times. So anyway, we are going to take a chip brush.
I'm finishing doing mine. I'm,
like,
I'm
what are
waving it
you
around over
doing?
here like a crazy person off the camera.
Okay, all right, so
Because I'm drying mine.
I'm going to add this oil, and hopefully you can see on the camera already how it's changing and deepening the color. Okay, here's the hemp oil on just the blue so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my cat. And then when we, I forget, oh yeah, we stain the back, so we would also hemp the back, hemp oil the back, and this is Miss Mustard Seed hemp oil. There's also hemp oil in the Fusion line, and it's made by the same distributor, so it's awesome all around. But we just love using the hemp oil. It gives such a great finish, and it does create a barrier for water, so it soaks down into the fibers of the wood and forms that water barrier.
It's what I use to finish my kitchen table, and
Yes.
I love it.
I do
And
too.
you know, when I start to think, oh, it's not repelling water as good as it used to, or whatever, because I have kids at home, it gets scrubbed a lot. I just hemp oil it, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's food safe, so I don't have to worry about that.
Okay, so we like to use 400 grit sandpaper, and we just go in with it, the oil on it. That's why we call it wet sanding. And then we take this blue shop towel and wipe off the excess oil. Now, when you do use hemp oil, it takes about a couple weeks, week to a couple weeks to cure all the way. So when you touch it, you might get fingerprints on it, but you just wipe them off. So it's no big deal.
So if you're doing this at home, I don't know if you can see that I had some orange paint on my
We're wiggling the
sandpaper because of the orange. So you can see here on my ghost a little bit of that orange with the oil came up. So I tore off that section of my sandpaper, and I'm gonna use that clean piece on my ghost.
Look.
Okay, sorry, we're wiggling.
We are
We're
so
gonna
sorry.
sand.
We're gonna make you sick watching our camera like go.
We're gonna
"Ooh," like
sand a little more cautiously.
that. Yes. Okay. And so I'm making sure I don't use the part that has the black to do my yellow.
Okay. I'm gonna reach over Jill and steal towels.
Hey. I don't think you're on the camera. I can find talking.
No, I'm down here.
Okay. I know people are talking and we can't really see what you're saying. Let's see. Did you think I met you? You're just used to being in a school. Okay. Love your paint for vanities. Works amazing, very durable. Hey, Lacey, guess what? We're doing your idea. See? Right here, it's the earrings made big for the door hanger. All right, so
Then I'm doing the same thing with my blue shop towel. I'm covering up that part that had the orange oil, and I'm using a clean section on my white just because I don't want to transfer that orange.
and
Sorry.
here we go. So here is the back part where it's just stained, and so if you go in and put the hemp oil on just that stained part, it makes it just look really pretty and